Welcome back, guys. This is Mr. David. Last time we talked about the characteristic of quadratic functions. Today we'll talk about graphing quadratic functions and then revisit those characteristics. Quadratic functions are also known as parabolas. Okay? All right, let's get started. So let's quickly remind ourselves that the standard form of the quadratic function is f of x equals ax squared plus bx plus c. We call it f of x here. We could call it g of x, h of x, whatever of x we want. Okay, we're going to call it f of x most of the time. Call ax squared plus bx plus c. And you remember, a cannot be 0 for the quadratic function. We went over the vertex last time. Vertex, if you remember, the formula is negative b over 2a. Right? X equals negative b over 2a. Once you find the x value, you guys remember, we take this x value and plug it into our function to find the y value. Okay, so we take whatever value we get, we plug in it. That will be step 1 in graphing the parabola. Okay, step 2. Step 2 will be a table of values. Table of values. Okay. By now we all know how to make table of values. Right? We just make nice table, pick a few numbers. But for the parabola or for the quadratic function, the way to make the table of value is really specific. All right? So we make the table, we're going to pick 5 values. But the way to pick the values, we start with the vertex, the negative b over 2a, right, for the x, and the y value of the vertex. Okay? We have it in the middle. Then we pick 2 numbers right after the vertex. Right? The vertex is here. We pick the number that comes right after the vertex and the next one. So we're going to pick 2 consecutive numbers on the right side and 2 consecutive on the left. Okay? Then we plug those values inside the function and we find their y value, the corresponding y values. Now, after we have our nice table of value, we move on to plot the point from the table of value, okay, and connect them to have a nice parabola. Okay, so we're gonna. Okay, so example 1. Let's graph this function f of x equals x squared minus 2x plus 7. Okay, quickly, first step, find the vertex. Okay, so I'm gonna use a red one. 1. Let's find the vertex. Okay, we know the formula is negative b over 2a. Okay, so negative b. b is negative 2, right? So negative 2 over 2 times a. A is an invisible 1. You can see that. Okay, so we have negative 2, which become positive. Right? So double negative is positive. 2 times 1, right, is 2. So we have our vertex. The x value of our vertex is 1. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and box it up so I know this is my answer. Now you got to remember from last time. You take this x value and you plug it in. Okay? Plug into your original function to find y. So let's find y. Okay, so I find x, let's find y. Y will be 1 squared minus 2 times 1 plus 7. Okay, so 1 squared is 1. Negative 2 times 1 is negative 2 plus 7. Okay, and that gives us our y value, which will be 1 plus 7 is 8. 8 minus 2 is 6. I'm going to box it up. And that's our y value of the vertex. So what is our vertex? Our vertex is 1, 6. Okay, that's the point. Step 2. Go straight to the table of values. Step 2, table of values. Okay. How do we make the table of value? We take our vertex and put in the middle of the table. Okay, so the table, we need 5 values. So x, y. I'll put the vertex in the middle and pick 2 numbers after and 2 numbers before the vertex. Okay. The vertex is going in the middle. So vertex is 1, 6. 1, 6. Okay? So the x value of the vertex, the y value of the vertex. We put in the middle of the table. Pick two numbers that come right after 1. They got to be consecutive. So after 1, we have 2, and then we have 3. What comes before 1? We have 0 and -1. So you see, all the x values are consecutive. It's really important. Then we're going to plug in these numbers inside our function. Okay? I'm going to try to look at it quickly. I could pick the left side or the right side. Okay? We just have to focus on one side. I want to pick the left side because it's easy. Okay? Let's plug in 0 here. Okay? So if I plug in 0, I will have 0 squared minus 2 times 0 plus 7. So that will give me 7. So for 0 is 7. Okay? So whatever answer I get here is going to be on the other side also. 7. Okay? It's mirror image. Okay? So I plug in 0. Now let's plug in -1. I'm going to plug -1 here. So -1 squared minus 2 times -1 plus 7. Okay? So -1 squared is 1. Minus 2 times -1 is positive 2 plus 7. So it gives us 1 plus 2, 3 plus 7, 10. Okay, that's what it looks like. Okay, so we get 10 here, and we get 10 here. Okay. Now let's see if our function makes sense. You gotta remember from last week, if a is positive, we have a happy face. So here a is 1. A is 1. It's positive, so we expect to have a happy face. Okay, so we gotta check that before we graph. We gotta check the table to make sure that we get exactly what we're supposed to get, which in this case is a happy face. Okay, let's see. So let's look. From 10 to 7, are we going up or down? From 10 to 7. From 10, I go down to 7. Okay, from 7 to 6, are we going up or down? From 7 to 6, so that's down. Okay. So I'll go from 10, 7, 6. From 6 to 7, are we going up or down? From 6 to 7, it goes up. You see? And from 7 to 10, it goes up. So we have a happy face. So you got to make sure after your graph, you test to see if you get exactly what you expect to get first. Okay? If you get it, then you know, chances are you're correct, and you go ahead and make your x and y axis. Okay? So step 3, let's plot points and connect them. Step 3. Step 1, step 2, step 3. Plot points. Okay. All right. So I'm going to make my x and y axis. And when you're making your x and y axis, sorry, it is really important to look at your values to make sure you know how far down you could go or how far up you could go. Okay? So here I see I gotta go all the way to 10. So I'm gonna try to change the scaling a little bit. Okay, so hopefully you guys can see. So x and y. Okay, everyone can see. So x goes from -1 to 3. So -1, 0, 1, 2, and 3. So I'm going to be in this bracket. Okay. All right. So at -1, we go to 10. So let me see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So it's all the way here. Okay. So for -1, I go all the way to 10, somewhere here. Okay. For 0, we go to 7. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So 7 is here, right here. Okay. Then for 1 we go to 6. 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, approximately. That's where the vertex is, right? Then 2, 7. 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then 3, all the way to 10. Boom. Okay. So I have my 5 points. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now you're going to nicely connect them. Nicely. Connect smoothly. Don't use a ruler, okay? Because it's a parabola. So we don't use a ruler for parabola, okay? You try your best. Okay, I'm going to extend. I don't want to stop at the point. I'm going to extend with an arrow. Okay? So this is our parabola. This is our function. Now, let's talk about the characteristic of this function. Okay? Let's talk about the characteristic of this nice parabola. First one, we already know the vertex. It's 1, 6. Okay? Characteristic. Number 4, characteristic. Okay? We know the vertex. Vertex. V is 1, 6. Okay? 1, 6. Next characteristic. What does the x value of the vertex represent? What? Okay, we remember. It's called the axis of symmetry. The axis of symmetry, x equal to 1. Okay? You gotta remember. What does the y value represent? Y value of the vertex. We remember. The y value of the vertex represent the maximum or the minimum. Okay? So this one I'm going to put min or max. Okay? Which one is it? What does 6 represent for this nice parabola? Is it the maximum or the minimum? It's the lowest point of the function, so it is your minimum. So here we have a mean. Mean y equal to 6. Okay? You gotta remember that. Okay? So the maximum is when we have a sad face. The minimum is when we have a happy face. So we have a minimum. Okay? Next one. What are the roots of this function? The roots. The roots, if you gotta remember, supposed to be the x-intercept. Okay? So what are the x-intercepts? X-intercept. Well, when we look at this function, it does not intersect the x-axis. So there's no real root. Okay? No real root. No real root. Or no x-intercept. Okay? After x-intercept, we have to talk about y-intercept. That's the last one. Y-intercept. That's the last characteristic. Okay, the y-intercept, you gotta remember, is where the graph crosses the y-axis. So let's look at this. Here's our y-axis. The graph is crossing right here at this point. Okay, what is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So this is 0, 7. Okay, so our y-intercept is 0, 7. Okay, for this function. We have a happy face. Happy face has a minimum. Okay, so let's write this here. This is the y-intercept. This is the minimum. Okay, mean. Okay, so y equal to 7 or 6, 6. Y equal to 6. Mean y equal to 6. Okay, 7 was the y-intercept. So mean y equal to 6. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Guys, remember on your quiz last week, they talked about graphing the dotted line for the axis of symmetry. Okay? The axis of symmetry is here. Dotted line. Remember, not a solid. Okay? Draw, 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 draw. So this is the axis of symmetry. X equal to 1. X equal to 1. Okay? That's your axis of symmetry. Axis of symmetry. Okay? Now you have everything you need on this parabola. Okay, for example 2, we're going to use f of x equal 2x plus 3. So we're going to graph this. Now remember, last week we gave you a quiz, and that reflected something like this. You could notice that a is 2, or b, x is not here. So there's no x, so no b. So b is 0, and this is c. C is 3. Okay? So for this one, you could see b equal to 0. Many of you guys made a mistake and say, oh, there's no vertex because there's no b. No. B is 0, so plug it in. So negative b means negative 0 over 2a. 2 times 2 is 4. Okay? So negative 0 is just 0 over 4, which is 0. Okay? So the x value of the vertex is 0. Many of you guys say there's no vertex because there's no b. No. B is 0. And some of you even make the mistake and say B is 3. No. B has to have X. Okay? So there's no X there, so that means this is C. If there's no X, B is 0. Okay? It's really important. All right, so now that we find the X value is 0, let's plug it in. Plug it in. Okay? So if you plug in right here, the Y will be 2 times 0 squared, right, plus 3. Right? 0 squared is 0, so 2 times 0 is 0 plus 3. So it's just 0 plus 3, which is 3. So here's your vertex. 0, 3. Okay? 0, 3. Okay? Really simple. That's the first one, right? That's step 1. Step 2, we make the table. Okay? So remember, we make the table with 5 values. We put 0 in the middle. Then we pick 2 numbers. Okay, we put 0 in the middle. We pick 2 numbers right after that. 0, 1, 2. 2 numbers right before 0. Negative 1, negative 2. Okay. Okay, so x, y. Our vertex is in the middle. Okay, I'll write that in black. Okay. We pick 2 numbers right after the vertex and right before the vertex. Okay, I'm going to use this side this time. Okay, use the positive numbers and plug it in. Okay, let's plug in 1. If we plug in 1, we have 2 times 1 squared plus 3. Okay, 1 squared is 1. 2 times 1 is 2 plus 3. 5. Okay. So give us 5. Remember, whatever we have on this side, mirror image on this side. 5, 5. Okay. So now let's plug in 2. Right? So we have 2 times 2 squared. 2 times 2 squared plus 3. So 2 squared is 4. Right? So 2 times 8 is 4 plus 3, 11. Okay, I'll put 11 here. So whatever is on this side is on this side. So we have everything. Okay, now we could just go ahead and plot this point. Okay, let's see. I'll go to negative 2, right? So I'm going to draw it here. About here. Okay, x, y. We want to make sure we go all the way to 11. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So 11 is all the way here. Okay, I'll extend it a little bit. 11. All right. So at 0 we have 3. 0. I use the different color. I use the red one. 0, 1, 2, 3. It's right here. So 0, 3. That's our vertex. Then we go 1, 5. 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We'll have the same thing on this other side. Okay. Then at 2 we have 11. 2, go all the way to 11. Okay. So I'm going to have it on the other side too. Negative 2, 11. Negative 1, negative 2, 11. Then I will nicely connect this. extend it a little. Okay? So here are my points. The vertex is here, the other 2 points, and the last 2 points. Okay? So this is 2x squared plus 3. Okay? You can see the 3 right there. This is our vertex. 0, 3. Okay? You see right here, the y-axis is going straight to the vertex. So this will be our axis of symmetry also. Okay? So vertex is 0, 3. Axis of symmetry, x equal to 0. Okay? That's the y-axis. Okay? It does not touch the x-axis, so there's no roots. Again, right? No roots. Okay? No root, no x-intercept, because it doesn't touch it. It's a happy face, so we have a minimum. So the minimum is right here, the y value of the vertex. Okay? So we have a minimum, mean, y equal to 3. Okay? So that's basically everything that we know as characteristic of this function. All right, so now let's try to summarize everything that we just did, okay, to graph the quadratic function. Okay? Step 1, we find the vertex, right? xy of the vertex, which is negative b over 2a for the x. We plug it in, we get out the f of x, which is the y value. Step 2, we make our table of value, and remember, we put the vertex in the middle, and we pick 2 consecutive numbers right after, and 2 consecutive numbers right before. Okay? Then we plug them in to find the y values. Then step 3, we plug the point from the table, and we connect them. Okay? Now, it's important to know if A, in step 4, okay, if A is positive, then we have a happy face. If we have a happy face, we have a minimum. The vertex becomes a minimum. Okay? So the minimum will be the f of negative b over 2a, which is the y value of the vertex. Okay? Whatever we get for negative b over 2a, we plug it into our function, and that will become our mean. This line here, the axis of symmetry, is the x value of our vertex, negative b over 2a. Okay? If a is less than 0, if a is negative, then we have a sad face. When we have a sad face, the vertex, which is on top now, becomes the maximum. Okay? And the value of the maximum is f of negative b over 2a, whatever we get for the x value of the vertex. Okay? Our axis of symmetry is there. It's always x equal negative b over 2a. So guys, this is everything you need to know about graphing a quadratic function, which is a parabola. If a is positive, happy face. If a is negative, sad face. Okay? And everything else, we know this from last lesson. Okay? You gotta remember the drill. If it's too fast, rewind it, watch it again. Go at your own pace. It's always gonna be there for you. Okay? All right, good luck. See you next time.